Today is Wednesday, July 15th, 2026. Here are the day's main stories. We begin with escalating tensions in the Middle East, where the United States has resumed its naval blockade against Iran. This comes amid a fourth consecutive day of exchanges of fire between the two countries.
President Donald Trump has issued a stark warning to Iran, threatening to strike the country's bridges and power plants next week if it does not return to negotiations. Speaking in a Fox News interview that aired Tuesday night, President Trump stated, "Next week it gets really bad for them. We're going to knock out all their power plants. We're going to knock out all their bridges, unless they get to the table and negotiate." This follows an earlier reversal of a threat to impose a 20% fee on all Strait of Hormuz cargo shipping, with the blockade of Iranian ports now reinstated. The conflict has seen a chemical tanker, the Stolt Magnesium, hit by an explosion off the Omani coast yesterday, an incident the United Arab Emirates condemned as a quote, brazen attack by Iran. United Nations Human Rights Chief Volker Turk previously responded to similar threats in April, stating that deliberately attacking civilians and civilian infrastructure is a war crime under international law.
In the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Ebola outbreak in the eastern part of the country is spreading faster than health officials can track. The World Health Organization reported Tuesday that 80% of new Ebola cases are emerging from unknown chains of transmission. Deaths have now passed 700. The Africa Centers for Disease Control says this is the fastest-growing Ebola outbreak on the continent, with many newly reported deaths occurring in communities without access to health facilities.
China's economic growth has slowed sharply in the second quarter of this year, missing Beijing's annual target. Official gross domestic product figures released today show the world's second-largest economy grew by 4.3% between April and June, down from a 5% rise in the first quarter. The National Bureau of Statistics cited weak domestic demand and the impact of the Iran war on oil prices as key factors.
China has detained a United States seismologist who tracks nuclear tests, holding him for nearly 2 years on espionage charges. Chen Yulin, 54, was arrested in November 2024 during a visit to Beijing to see family. His wife, Ron Yufeng, also a seismologist, says the allegations are both wrong and inconsistent with the public and collaborative nature of the work that he has done. China's foreign ministry stated its judicial authorities handle cases in accordance with the law.
Turning to domestic news in the United States, President Donald Trump is set to deliver a primetime address this Thursday. He has indicated the speech will focus on elections, potentially revisiting previously debunked conspiracy theories about his 2020 defeat. The address comes as President Trump pushes for tighter federal voting rules ahead of November's midterm elections.
2 Supreme Court justices testified before Capitol Hill on Tuesday regarding the court's budget request. Justices Elena Kagan and Amy Coney Barrett highlighted a dramatic increase in threats to their safety, leading to a significant rise in security funding requests. This marks the first time in 7 years that justices have appeared before Congress for a budget hearing.
We turn now to 2 separate tragedies that have claimed dozens of lives.
In southern Spain, authorities have confirmed that 7 Britons were among the 13 victims killed in deadly wildfires that tore through Almeria province last Thursday. Spanish authorities completed post-mortem examinations on Tuesday, identifying 12 of the victims as foreign nationals. 3 were from Belgium, 1 from France, and another from the United States. The remaining victim was a Spanish citizen. Among the British nationals were Pete and Fran Gillam, a couple who lived in the village of Badar, which was heavily impacted by the fires. And in Bangkok, Thailand, the death toll from a bar fire has risen to 32, with dozens more still hospitalized. Officials are investigating possible negligence in the blaze, which occurred at a music bar. The New York Times reports that the incident shows signs of fatal lapses that are repeated across the world.
A new era has begun for Gibraltar, as the British territory's border fence with Spain has been removed. The 118-year-old border controls were formally ended today, following a treaty signed between Britain and the European Union.
In sports, Spain has advanced to the Men's World Cup final for the first time since 2010, after a 2-0 victory over France. That was the NDP Media News Digest. Thanks for listening.